This is your favorite trainer explaining more about the Elk RMDesigner software. I'm going to go up and make a default project. So I'm going to click File, New Project. I'm going to click New Design is what I'm going to name it. And you can see here I've got it checked for default project. So I'm going to press OK. So now we have this nice new default project. What I'd first like to do is I'd like to make a button. To change instead of the M1 logo is to have your company logo there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here to Tools, create a button image. As you can see here, I actually have a button on the page. I need to unlock so I can now drag this button around. The first thing I would like to do is I'd like to change its size. So if you press and hold the Shift and your left arrow button, you can see we can make this a little smaller. The down arrow button will actually make it bigger. Of course, the up arrow button will actually make it smaller, and the right arrow would actually make it bigger. So those are just some ways how we can actually resize this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to resize this button a little bit. I'm now going to put my cursor inside the button. I'm going to right click on it to bring up properties. As you can see here, let me just kind of move my button out of the way here. As you can see here, we actually have a template of this button, and we can actually change the color, the button borders, the image. If we scroll down using the scroll bar, we can actually put in text and drop shadow it as well. What I'm first going to do is I'm just going to change the borders on this. Instead of it being a white border, I'd like to change that to be kind of a real dark blue, and click OK. Instead of having a black inside border, maybe I want something a little lighter here, and click OK. Now, I'm going to scroll down here. I'm going to skip image. We're actually going to be putting some other images and other buttons later on, but I'm going to go down here to text. I'm just going to type in I'm just going to put a little text in here, and what I can do is down here in left and top we can actually designate how far we want this to move. So you can see here I moved it over 15. That's quite not enough, but it gives me close, so I can use the little up arrow buttons to try to center this. From top I can just press in some kind of number. I'll put in 45, looks pretty good. So now if you wanted to, you can also put your phone number in here underneath ABC Security. Just press the return button and type it in and center that up. What I'm going to do is the font color, the white looks good. You can change this to any color you want to. I'm going to leave mine as white. Press the OK button. The font is a little small for me. It makes it kind of hard to read, so what I can do is I can make that a little bit bigger. If I want to, I could also put that in bold and just see what that looks like. Looks like that's a little too big, so what we can do is we can either change our button size, or we could just go back and make this a little smaller. I'm just going to make my type just a little smaller, maybe drop down to 10. And see how that's going to look. Still it's a little too big. What I can do is I can go back and kind of move this a little bit. I can move it over to the left a little bit here. See if I can get it to completely fit in the button. And I sure can. Now I would like to put in a little drop shadow. Right now it's saying false, but now I can make it true. Instead of it being the distance as being 2, I can put it to 6. And you can see I've got a little drop shadow there. We can also change the color of the drop shadow. If you wanted to make it yellow, we can actually do that too. But to me, I think the black looks the best. We can save this as a template if you want to be able to bring this up in other projects. So I'm going to left click on it, type in the template name, which will be a company logo button. So now I can X out of this, and you can see here I've actually got this company button. Now all we have left to do is just to be able to save this button. So if we right click on it, hit save, we can save it to whatever we want to. So I'll just save it as security. Click the save button. We have now saved it. This ends this step of making a button.